Good evening, Council and audience members. I'm pleased to present tonight the proposed 2019-2020 budget for the City of Redmond. But first, I'd like to take a moment to revisit what we've accomplished in the past budget. Besides completing a number of capital projects, we started the Neighborhood Conversations program, increased our affordable housing stock and contributions to our Human Services Fund, and transitioned to the Marymore Village Community Center while maintaining our AAA financial rating. To develop a budget, you need to know where you're going. Our vision comes from the comp plan and has remained consistent for the past 20 years. Our strategy to focus growth into downtown and Overlake has created new housing, restaurants, retail, while preserving our established neighborhoods. To reach our vision, we have created a number of what I'm calling 10-minute communities, so that the retail services, transportation, parks are all 10 minutes away from where you live. For example, within a 10-minute walk of our downtown park, there are multiple restaurants, parks, medical facilities, grocery stores, affordable housing, and senior housing. The budget development began in January with the council retreat and a discussion of their priorities. Citizen surveys, community events, and a review by a 12-member civic review team strengthen and improve this proposed budget. From 2009 to 2018, the Puget Sound area and Redmond in particular have went through a record-breaking period of growth. The next 6 to 8 years will be crucial in shaping the fabric of Redmond. Between Microsoft, Oculus, Sound Transit, and just the normal level of development, Redmond will receive about $8 to $10 billion of private or at least non-city investment. We must create the organizational structure and capacity to keep pace and manage this growth while preserving the assets we already have. This is the foundation of the budget. This is the foundation the budget creates for the next 8 years. As we have for the last 5 budgets, or 10 years, we reaffirmed the global priorities of the city and built our financial plan and budget around them. This budget here of $797 million is a 1% increase over the last budget. You can see the 4 quadrants where we spend the most money. Other includes debt service, internal services, and interfund accounts, interfund transfers. A third of this budget is for capital projects. Always has been a high priority for council. Of the capital budget, 45% is for preserving our assets or addressing our health and safety issues. There's little change in the allocation of resources among the priorities. Infrastructure is expensive and receives 51% of our resources, followed by public safety at 19%. Among the public's top concerns have been transportation, and this functional area receives the largest portion of our CIP. Looking at the CIP budget through a different lens, neighborhoods receive 45% of the capital budget allocation. Overlake will be next, with that neighborhood prepared to absorb the growth that's coming, with 43% of the budget, and a Sound Transit station opening in 2023. Correspondingly, we're investing our infrastructure now before that area fully grows out. Washington state tax laws create a structural flaw in city finances. And I'm not talking just Redmond, I'm talking about every city in Washington. The amount of property tax revenue a city can collect is capped at 1% a year. Yet inflation and other cost pressures increase expenditures by 3 to 6%. This budget assumes the adoption of the 1% property tax increase, a 2.4% inflationary increase in the head tax, and increasing the utility tax on cable TV by 3% so that all non-city utilities are taxed at 6%. The cable utility tax will be less than $3 a month for most households. In our long-range financial plan, we need to start discussions about renewing our 2007 levy for police, fire, and parks maintenance. That's going to be a difficult challenge for us because property taxes in our city have gone up 38% year over year because of changes of state law and funding of schools. Our residents saw their property taxes increase, but they don't necessarily divide which government gets their property taxes. For the record, I wanted to point out that of your property tax dollar, 13% is the city's share. A big portion of that is state and for schools. People don't differentiate, and so if we have to make a case for renewing our public safety levy and our parks levy in 2020 or 2021, we're going to have to show the value they receive and how renewing that value keeps the high level of service going. In our city-run utilities, rate increases are proposed at 2% and 4% for water and wastewater for our city customers, and 3% to 5% for our Novelty Hill customers. It's a little higher for Novelty Hill because they have to pay for their capital over a smaller customer base. It just works out that way. Managing FTE growth is one of the best ways to control costs. Redmond has always maintained a discipline when reviewing its FTEs. This budget, we propose that we convert supplemental dollars into 3.82 FTEs. In addition, we are realigning 3 FTEs to create a full-time safety officer position, an environmental program manager, and an additional person in TIS. The safety officer is a position that's very important to our folks at the MOC. This person will be based in HR and work with our field crews, but also internally, so that we're always maintaining a level of safety in how we do our work. The environmental program manager, we've been playing with that title, but this is a full-time position that will advance the city's programs in shrinking its carbon footprint. And the additional resource in TIS is to deal with the complexity that has occurred over the years in our infrastructure, backbone, and user software. Another way we evaluate our budget is through the price of government. Historically, Redmond floats between 5% and 6%. So 5% to 6% of the average resident's income goes to paying for city services. Council set a target of 5.5% in its financial policies. The proposed budget hits a price of government at 5.5% in 2019 and 5.3% in 2020, and it's so averaging 5.4 for the biennium. Moving into the budget of our 6 priorities, we'll start with clean and green. Redmond has always held a strong environmental ethic, and we strengthen that by creating the city environmental sustainability program and a zero waste program. Creation and implementation of these programs over the next 2 years will help shrink our carbon footprint even more than we've been doing before. We're continuing our tree canopy program, maintaining our streams and water quality, and the beautification of the city. To measure that, we have the following performance measures, but reduction of greenhouse gas emissions being the top one. And we've gone over a lot of these with council, and we will as we go through the budget to show you what you're buying. In diverse and connected community, we propose increasing our contribution to ARCH to $500,000 a year, adding translation services so residents can access city programs, and then continue our success with events, recreation, and recycling. We also propose reviewing land use policies and regulations to more aggressively tackle homelessness issues. To measure our success, we'll look at providing spaces. Our community is always looking for ways to gather, measuring the number of volunteers, the affordable housing units, and collaborating with our partners in the community to strengthen and maintain the success of our arts and events. The proposed budget includes funding in infrastructure for transportation, facility management, preparing for Sound Transit's arrival in 2023 and 2024, and maintaining our current assets. Some of the key measurements under infrastructure include protecting our assets, getting more from our assets, and serving our customers. Under responsible government, we enhance our cultural inclusion program, strengthen our IT strategies, our asset management system, and our safety programs. In addition, we invest in our employees through succession planning, training under our organizational development plans. To measure this priority, we evaluate our financial bond rating, resident feedback and surveys, our employee feedback and retention, and our ability to protect our infrastructure, particularly IT infrastructure under this priority. Moving to safety, investments under safety include additional resources for records management, case management, and best practices for fire and development review programs. Our measurements, our objectives in safety are to protect life and property. Redmond maintains very low crime rates and have excellent response times for police, fire, and medical services. Our advanced life support team has one of the best survival rates in the county. And we're very proud of our response times, both in police and fire, and plan to continue that with this budget. Our sixth priority, Vibrant Community, focuses on supporting small businesses through easier systems and reporting. We're also creating a special development review team to process the Microsoft refresh efforts. This is going to be a large work product for us over the next 6 years, and by creating the special team, we can be focused on delivering the permits and inspections necessary to make that project successful also. Our performance measures for that will include the number of business licenses. Over 80% of our businesses are considered small businesses. Providing timely customer service for building and plan review, and to encourage code compliance over code enforcement. We want people to participate in the community in a way that enhances the community. So our next steps are a public hearing in 2 weeks, budget review by the council October through November, and then a budget adoption November 4th. We have, I think, 7 or 8 meetings scheduled with the council to go through these. Our first one or two will be on capital and our capital investments. This is a large budget. I look forward to working with council as we review and discuss the proposed budget. I believe you'll find that the proposed budget addresses the community needs as best we can with the resources we have. The director's team and I look forward to our meetings and discussions and answering any questions you have on this.